Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, I believe it's the 9th of January, 2026. I am at the confluence of Rourke Creek and Lake Taneycomo in Branson, Missouri. I'm going to try to make this very concise because my mom has plans for me today on our last day here in Branson. But what I want to do is a brief guided meditation, and then there's going to be a talk coming through. I know a good chunk of what's going to be said, but it's going to be a little more controversial. And in this place, it makes it even more controversial because it's very religious people in these parts of the Ozarks. And what is going to be shared in this message is another way of looking at things from Jesus's perspective in Mary Magdalene. That's going to kind of ruffle some feathers, depending on who's listening to it. But in the end, this is supposed to be showing another way of looking at spirituality and to carry that forward and finding the divine or God from within. So let's go ahead and start and take about 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, hold it, and then exhale out the mouth. So breathe in, hold it, and then exhale out. Breathe in again, hold it, and exhale out. And let's do a sighing breath on this one just to get us anchored and grounded into our bodies. Inhale in, hold it, and then exhale. I want you to visualize outside of your body right now. This, lack of a better term, an orb. This orb can be any color that your mind and your eyes are seeing it as you're kind of with your eyes closed and sitting in the most comfortable position you can be in. For the one doing this meditation, the orb for me is, the best way to describe it, it's not quite see-through, it's translucent. When the light hits it, it kind of has a rainbowy sheen, but a little bit more pink than anything. This orb is a symbol of the divine that's within us, the space that we can access at any time we go in to do so. And this one doesn't need any forcing or trying. It's there. We just have to consciously go in and see it. And in this orb is the divine within, that we are all a unique flavor of the divine, of source, of God, whichever term you're more comfortable with. And in this external focused world that we're in right now, that everything's trying to force you outside or will make you look at a problem with yourself, or this isn't right, or that isn't right. This orb that you can access has any of the information and guidance that you'll need when you can't get beyond or tune out the noise. I want you to visualize grabbing this orb with both hands, and I want you to feel what it feels like holding this orb. It has form, but it doesn't have form, and it is kind of weightless, kind of like a partially filled helium balloon. It's not rising, it's not falling, but you're just there touching it and accessing it and feeling that energy field between you and it, and realizing that this is part of you. This is inside you already. And I want you to notice how you feel when you touch that. Do you feel calm, safe, reassured? And just sit with that for a moment and just feel that. And for those that feels like nothing is really working, really just notice that. The person guiding the meditation is not trying to smile, as a goose just did a almost crash landing in the creek, and he didn't have to see with his eyes that it was happening. And as you're holding this, I want you to notice if you have anything that's sounding like a whisper or something coming up within you. And if you can hear that, some cases it's going to feel just like an energetic pulse or a nudge to act or respond a certain way. For others, it may actually be words that's providing some guidance to something that you're kind of going back and forth about. And I just want you to notice that. And if you do hear any words, just try to remember them after this meditation and write them down, or even pause this video after the meditation's done and write it down. Now, I want you to picture this orb has just gotten a lot bigger, and it's essentially like your energy field. It's going to be, we'll say, about 3 meters or 3 yards, 3 inches in diameter. And what you're going to do is you're going to just lean forward into this orb now and just allow yourself to go in. And I'm seeing some colors and seeing part of the message that is going to be delivered here in a moment in this space. I want you to notice that the calmness, the safety, the reassurance that's inside here. And that anytime things are chaotic on the outside and you get yourself just a space of quiet, this is always here for you. And there are some incantations I want all of us to do right now. I am a unique flavor of Source Creator. I am a unique flavor of Source Creator. And breathe in. And then exhale out through the nose. At any time, you can access from within answers to some of the issues that you may be facing, or epiphanies that you may have never thought of before, because this is a space that's quiet, not forcing, no demands. It just is, and those answers just come up gently, and it can be very clear, not what you see outside of this bubble, which is feeling like everything is a sense of urgency and has to be resolved right now. Because in the divine and in the creation, there isn't anything that's rushed. It just has a time that it's supposed to be, and surrender and have faith into it. And the final incantation we'll do before I start the guided message is, I surrender and trust Source Creator to help co-create the life meant for me. And breathe that in. And exhale out. And so it is. And if you aren't doing so right now, you can go ahead and just open your eyes and just feel what you're going to feel, the calmness in the body, because this is the space we're going to be in as we dive into the guided talk, and it goes along with this meditation, finding Source Creator within you, and another way of looking at spirituality that we're starting to see more in this world, but not really. I'm going to take a couple of breaths as I try to get in, because I want to make sure I get this message as clear and concise as possible. We that are the team that communicates with the higher self of the person doing this channeled message wanted him to do this in this land today. as we see division that's happening with many of the top-down structures in the world. And this includes, and whew, the person leading is fighting right now. I'm asking him to breathe one more time. And this is the message coming through Jesus with Mary Magdalene right there. And this is the one that makes the person giving this message very nervous, but he's going to do it. When I came here about 2,000 years ago, I was not here to create another system of control. I was here trying to show people that God is within each and every one of us, and I'm just another embodiment of that. What happened after my death? And we're going to first go into how the Bible was created and then go backwards. Rome was falling, and the people that are now known as my disciples, some of them were, some of them weren't, were embodied into what do we do with Rome falling. And a political order based around the religion that was based off of me was formed. There were some books that were very close to what I was doing when I was here. And then what got put in to what was we'll say the Catholic Bible, because that's the wording that the person giving the message can communicate better, had to be a specific flavor for the order that was being created. This order was to talk about almost a response to what they were seeing in the fall of Rome. That there was a lot of activities that were going on that were destructive, various flavors of hedonism, usury, things that I threw tables about but seemed to be allowed, making money off of religion. Just no respect for each other was there, because there was, just like in today, haves and have-nots. The church wanted a top-down order to make everyone dependent on them for favor, for forgiveness, for mercy, as a way to stabilize and even stop some of the diseases that were spreading at that time. That the real thing was about keeping the human species going. And this is not a judgment lens that we are looking through on this. This is explaining the conditions on the ground and why it was there. Now I have to go to the texts that were not allowed. And these are ones that the person giving the message got to read because his first ex was in early Christianity classes and essentially was a religious studies major at that time. These books gave a very different flavor of what was doing. Because when I came to this world and I did all the things, I did all the sins, I needed to understand them so then I can show that better way forward. And I didn't get punished for those because I was divinely protected. I was divinely protected even at my death. And it may surprise some of you that my death may not be the death that is depicted either. And some of these are in those religious texts. my philosophy was have someone that was a delegate for a group of people to help them pray for whatever favor they needed, transcending away of these vengeful gods, but more of a going from within and asking for God to deliver those answers internally. And it was about no top-down order. There was no preacher that's talking down to the pulpit as if they were above the people. I am one of the people. Mary Magdalene was one of the people. Some facets of the Catholic Church today have churches venerating her, and there's a reason for that. The story they give is that she was saved by God by being a disciple of Jesus because of the life she lived to survive. I just see it that she was more humble to the plight of people. And in one of those books, actually 2 of those books, I was married to her and I wasn't crucified as was depicted in the canonized Bible. And for some people, a little bit to the person giving a little trepidation in saying that. But all of the books that are what is in the Nag Hammadi library is what it's called now, the forbidden heretical text, were things that deviated from this order that the leadership after the fall of Rome that created the first quote-unquote Christian church felt like they had to do for the survival of the religion and the people. And these things also take on their own life. For example, it says that people are wicked and evil and divided from God, and that they need to confess their sins, and that they need to go to church and go do this and give penance, not for the sake of benefiting fellow humanity, but to keep the church going. And it became more tyrannical and powerful. When I came here and I saw rabbis selling products at the Sabbath, I flipped tables in absolute violent rage, because this was not what was going to get people to tap into the God from within. And I wanted something that was more free will and in the words translated to the person giving it, deliberate, intentional, and conscious. What you have instead is something that takes that responsibility away from people. So if you're someone that was in religion and just wasn't working for you, just felt separate, it makes you feel isolated. We just want you to consider these points, and in the guided meditation that was given today, that maybe all this time all this is within you because you are a part, one of the symphony of souls that are part of Source Creator, God, Divine. Let that sink in for a moment. If all of that is within you, how does that feel compared to you have to pray for your sins and do these things in hopes of not ending up in a place that's called hell? And where, in our perspective, hell is a place of mind. It's when there's a lack of consciousness, intention, create, and deliberate action, and mercy for your fellow human, fellow animals, fellow trees, all of it, the rocks. How does it feel that that piece is within you and you're not separate? Doesn't it feel more connected? Do you feel more dialed in to help co-create that life you want to live, or with other people, with animals, whatever you feel led to call to? And that's what I wanted to bring today, is this was what I was wanting to create in this world, and what Mary Magdalene and I tried to create, but were unsuccessful at that time. And we leave you with that message, and to sit with it, and just, if nothing's working, another lens of looking at that may be more empowering than the order that's been put on this planet at this time. And so it is. Amen. Yeah. it was very uncomfortable. And there were people kind of going by, and that's part of blind faith. It's been something, it's been kind of in me for a few years, and in the past couple months I've been able to get back into it. And it's like channeling isn't necessarily them coming into my body or anything like that. It's more, it's that message is coming through my higher self, and then that's being translated into me so I can put it into words. And they're even tying that to human design and all that there's a reason I was made like that, and that other people are challenged to have the specific pieces so they can do that in the way that they need to do it. But the message itself, even if you are very religious, is to consider a way that's going to be more empowering, that's going to allow you to do more conscious action, to be more deliberate in everything that you do, and that maybe we aren't inherently evil, sinful, and wicked, that the conditioning of the environment and the original sin, what's passed down by our ancestors and how we were conditioned, raised, could be those quote-unquote sinful ways. And how do we not allow that to stop what we're here to do? And when we listen to that voice within, we can kind of get there. That's what I wanted to share with you all today, and thank you for listening. I welcome any feedback, even if you think everything that I said was, for better words that I can't think of right now, horseshit. I'm okay with that too. It's like, this is just something that I felt really led to share for those that needed to hear it, and even those that may not want to hear it. And this is not in a lens of I'm better or this is right and this is wrong. It's just another perspective. And so I hope that came off in that lens, and I hope you all have a good day, and I will be doing more of these as time allows. And thank you for listening.